Gotta be twice as good to get half they got. Mama told me young who I was, they thought that we forgot. Born kids and quiz, do your research and you can see the plot. Damn shame we watching our people die by these crooked cops. Freddie Gray, say his name. Sandra Bland, say her name. Sabina Smith, say his name. Jay Anderson, say his name. Breonna Taylor, say her name. George Lacenato, say his name. George Floyd, say his name. That's a damn. This a new day coming from the bottom. Had to get it, screen no justice, no peace, and I'm with it. We'll tear it all down so we can finally get up. Put your right fist in the air, you rockin' with us. 100 years we've been fighting, but we still here. Since 55 we've been marching, but we still here. They said you Crow been gone, but we still here. But we still here, yeah, we still here. Yeah. King had a dream I got to live when I went to school.
Or you could have just screenshot it and said that's a picture. It don't matter. Just whatever. Oh, look. We on the air. No, I was waiting to see myself.
Hey, I do look revolution ready.
Yeah, you do. You look a little spiffy.
Big fro.
I like it. I like it. Introduce yourself.
So I am Sedan Smith, president of Breaking Barriers Mentoring Inc., president of All of Us Are None. As y'all know, brother Seville Smith, and
I am Destiny Monet, also known as TPR Big Des.
And today
We got Brandon over here too.
Hey, Brandon.
Yeah, I'm Brandon. Part of All of Us Are None, vice president. We here live at the march for Dontre Hamilton. We got Mama Hamilton here with us, y'all.
How you doing?
Hey, y'all.
Hey, Mama Hamilton.
How are you?
What's up?
We shutting it down.
Shutting it down.
That's right. Happy heavenly birthday to Dontre Hamilton.
Say a
Absolutely.
few words about Dontre.
Dontre was a lovable person. Dontre loved deep. Whenever there was a problem, he was the problem solver. And he has did that with his spirit through us.
Mm-hmm.
So the problems that we're having right now will not remain, because not only did his spirit bring Milwaukee together, today was the inauguration.
Yes.
And we have people in office who care about the people in the United States. We have options now.
Yes.
And what Biden said, how did that make you feel about what he's doing to move forward with?
It's resonating and it's hopeful, but we need for him to actually do the action.
Right.
To help our people.
That
to
part.
bring the jobs back to Milwaukee.
Big dot.
And then, how did you feel about them accepting the contract? Is that
They already getting 50% of our budget. That money should have been allocated to our communities, and it wasn't.
Talk about
So we know who they are,
That's
and
right.
we're going to get them put out of those seats so we can have a common council that's working for the people and not to bed their own pockets.
it. Talk about it.
That's right.
We won't stop. The next fire and police meeting, we will be there. Common council, we're going to be there. Mayor, Barry, we're going to be there. You can't get rid of us until the people in this city is taken care of.
That's right. That's
Absolutely.
right. And again, we want to give a happy heavenly birthday to Dontre Hamilton.
yes?
Happy
Y'all
heavenly
have
birthday,
Hamilton's
Dontre Hamilton.
birthday, Marching. We're gonna get back to marching, and I'm gonna bring her back on the camera shortly.
Okay. That's fine. All right. Well, on that note, since we are talking about the cops grant, let's just see who we gonna hand these seats to, because it seems like 3 or maybe even more people should be held accountable for voting yes on the cops grant.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, what's your beef with them? Like, that's beef. Like,
Well, first thing first, let's talk about what is the cops grant exactly. What does that mean? Because I know a lot of people, it's kind of a lot of confusion. A lot of people are misconstrued as to what it is, what it's for. Let's touch on that for a little bit. Can you explain to me what that is?
I most definitely can. Okay, so the cops grant is basically it's money out of our state's budget where they are going to receive, I believe, what is it, $9.7 million?
Yep.
So they finna get some paper. You know what I mean? And it ain't no small money. But the things that they choose to allocate the funds to the cops, where it's only actually going to put in, I guess, 30 cops through the academy. Mm-hmm. And then that's for like the next 3 years.
Yeah, they're training and everything.
And that's just something like we need to be able to fight against that type of stuff, you know? So the people that we put in office to fight for us were supposed to take that battle on, and they were supposed to take it on head first. Like, we ain't running from it, so why are they ducking and dodging? They living out their dreams, but they're getting paid to do so. And then behind the scenes, behind the backs of the constituents that actually voted them in, because I'm pretty sure none of us wanted the police to get that money.
I definitely did not. I definitely did not. The first time that the vote was, that the vote happened, I really looked at that as a victory until homegirl asked for a recount.
What's her name? Nikita died?
Nikita died.
Oh, man, she need to just...
Man, sit your dumb ass down.
That part.
Just...
So she asked for a recount, saying that she wanted people to make the right decision.
Is that really what?
I don't even know what she meant by that, because I feel like the right decision was made with the first votes.
With the no.
With the no.
Okay, so let's just, we did vote. We did have a vote. It came up the first time. We all voted no. No was the final decision until Nikita Dodd brought it back up as if it was topic of discussion. And she was like, well, let's just use that money to send 30 officers through police academy for the next 3 years. $9.7 million for the next 3 years is a lot of money.
That's a lot of money. It's a lot of money. And then it's like, on top of that, we did our part as far as canvassing and putting, paperwork in people's hands to let them know when, what I'm saying, just in case you don't know what this money is going towards, this what it's going towards.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you want to see this. I don't think you want this, da-da-da. And they voted no. Then for her to turn around and be like, let's do a recount. And then I was yes. And then you got 2 other people who done switched their vote with her.
Yeah.
Hamilton and Lewis.
Oh, man, Ashanti Hamilton. Somebody got something to say to you.
Man, sit your dumb ass down.
Man. And then Alderman Lewis.
Man, sit your dumb ass down.
Definitely, we got several seats for y'all.
Absolutely.
So that's our beef with them, this week. The cops grant is something that we most definitely did not want to see go through. Mm-mm. They are planning on voting through. They did vote it through, so we say. And then, they planned it ahead of time. So we already knew what, the outcome was going to be. They're trying to have all these pre-meetings with the people of the community, activists, and try to say things like, well, we know that the cops need that grant because, I guess, what's going on in the White House. And honestly, that's not even affecting us.
It ain't got nothing to do with us.
Nothing at all.
We still need to worry about the people who go into this academy. Is they going to be properly trained the way we want them to be trained?
What about community relations,
That part.
Mental health programs for people.
Servicing in your own community. What about the chokeholds?
There's just so many things we can combat, and there's so many ways they could have used this money. Those funds could have been allocated to a lot of things. Infrastructure, for one. I hit potholes so hard. I swear. I thought I was back in slavery today. When my head hit the roof.
I hit a pothole so hard. I just knew I was going to have to get my car serviced. I just knew. Like, Lord.
We ain't got time for it, you know. But we not gonna sit back and let this stuff go on, you know. So we gonna bring y'all, you know, the latest news and make sure y'all stay updated because this is just ridiculous. We should not be getting treated like this. You know, the year is 2021 and we demand change.
Absolutely.
And another thing those funds could have been allocated for is so there's an app out, right? Who's this has the app? That's
which app are you talking about? We have a lot of dope people with these apps.
The app for the mental health response for officers
that's
in those situations.
Montreal.
Yes.
Montreal. He has an app.
Montreal Kane.
Yep. He
So
has an app.
he has an app that alerts people when the police are called to deal with unarmed suspects that are typically dealing with mental health issues. So the app is something that needs to be supported. You know, he needs the support, and people should, you know, donate to Montreal. And the app it's a genius app. There's people that are they're going to get an alert. Certain activists, people that have the app, the volunteers, they're going to get an alert that says that they need to be on the scene because a call just went out in response to mental health, and it's going to the police department.
Yep.
So we have people that are going to be on the scene and
Before the police.
Yep, before the police, and actually handle the situation accordingly. So
It's the mirror. It's pretty much on the screen. It's the Mirror app.
yep. So make sure you know y'all look out for his app. You know, download the app. Of course, support him. He needs the support. You know, that's another thing that the funds could have been allocated towards.
Yep.
They could have most definitely went to him.
And not only that, but in a lot of situations, the police won't even be called. So these people there go to the scene. They'll pretty much de-escalate, you know, something that the police should be doing. But they, you know, that's not priority, I don't think. So they are there on the scene to pretty much de-escalate, take care of it. And if the police needs to be called, then that'll happen. So imagine if you're an officer and, you know, something like this is happening and you know, like, dang, I might have to get called for that. But you found out you don't got to get called.
Yeah.
You know, like now you got something else that you can
Possibly go do
be
something
doing.
that,
Like
know,
you could really be saving the world.
really be doing your job.
Right. You could be doing something else productive.
It ain't like they do their job anyways.
Right.
You know, killing us is not a part of your job.
Being a bully is not a part of your job.
Treating us as if we're inhumane is not a part of your job.
Exactly. But de-escalating situations before they become escalated
Is
is
a
your
part
job.
of your job.
But it's people like Montreal who make apps like this that are accessible to people like us.
Yes. And then you have to think about it. Cops in Newark have not killed one person all year. You know what I'm saying? Not one person was killed all year. And the speech that goes out from their chief is that 90% of your job is communication. We need to have police accountability in areas where they can't even communicate. That's a big issue. You know, police accountability is like for me, you know, it's huge. To be able to say you did something wrong and to be able to say, nah, I didn't because I'm a police officer, that just don't sit right with me. You're not perfect, especially not because you put that uniform on. That didn't make you perfect. Is it the coffee and donut diet that got you feeling perfect, or what is it? Because we don't see you doing your job in a manner that makes you perfect. So, you know, we just want to keep y'all updated, making sure that y'all stay, you know, in the loop, of course.
Yep.
These things are everyday things that affect our life.
Yep. So definitely download the app.
Download the app.
Download the app. Like, please download the app, because even if you're not going to download it for yourself, you can download it for someone. You may be somewhere and, you know what I'm saying, you may be, you know, helping a situation. You may be saving someone. You may be just download the app. Download
Make sure
the app.
y'all
It's
support
dope.
Montreal Kane and the Mirror app.
And then we're going to go to a commercial.
Yes, we are.
Looking to support black-owned businesses in the Milwaukee area? Download the MKE Black mobile app, now available on Android and iPhone devices. Find your new favorite black-owned restaurants, boutiques, and more in the Milwaukee.
I probably need one of them shots upstairs. What's them called? Them ginger shots? Yeah. I ain't gonna. Oh, it's finna close. Okay. How you doing?
Assalamu alaikum.
Salika salam.
How are you?
Man, I love y'all to death. I swear. I was like halfway knocked out, and I remember I had to get on here with y'all. We've been up since like 4:30 this morning to make it to the inauguration.
Yeah.
It was off the chain. We believe strongly that big change is coming to our community. All we got to do is be ready for it.
That's right. Okay, now on the air, y'all, we have Justin Blake. You know, you want to go ahead and give him a proper introduction of who you are, you know, what you stand for?
Yeah, Justin Blake, run an operated organization in Chicago called the Black Underground Recycling. My father was a civil rights activist, marched with Martin Luther King 3 times, Selma, Chicago, and D.C. My great-grandfather on my father's side was a UNIA member of the Marcus Garvey organization, the Honorable Marcus Garvey. And we're the uncle of little Jake that got shot 7 times in the back by the police officer in Kenosha. Excuse us, I'm sorry. So we've been having boots on the ground since we was a shorty. We know what change is all about. We know what the fight is all about. It's 2021, and I'm not really going to be playing with nobody anymore, nephew. If people are in the game for the wrong reason, we have the right to say so and say what they on. We're trying to encourage people in our community to stand up and do the honorable thing and make society peaceful, make it a successful situation where we can flourish, where our young people can flourish. And so that's what we're all about. We're going to continue to give justice for little Jake and all the little Jakes around this country. And being at the inauguration today was part of that. So we have a government now that recognizes all that African descendants have done in this country to make this country what it is. And we believe strongly that they're going to do everything they can to do to make African descendants' lives better and have a better quality of life.
That's right, man. How was the inauguration? Was it lit?
Family, it was off the chain. You talk about nonstop. They picked us up, and we had to be up at like I think we got up at 4:30 this morning, 5 o'clock. They picked us up at 7. It started at I want to say like 9:30, 10 o'clock. They dropped us off from the buses that they ran up into the Capitol. The entertainment, the speakers, the theme of the whole thing was, thank you, African American community. We coming at you.
That's what's up. That's what's up. So now we need to let our people know that since we won some seats up in the Senate, you know, and in Congress, that we need to be able to make the demands now, you know, and they need to be able to follow through with the demands. Like, okay, for instance, what would be a demand you think we should be able to make now?
So right off the gate, they're going to start hitting, first off, they told us when they came down to Kenosha, when they spoke to my big brother Jake, that they were going to look into each and every police brutality or misbehavior that was on the books, including Breonna Taylor's auntie was here with us today, Bianca Austin, the sister to the mother, and Big Jake was here today, and we all were pushing for reform. Reform with the police, reform with what they can do, how they move. If an African descendant is ever harmed or misabused, that automatically the Fed should take over the investigation. The officers should go on a no-leave situation, no pay leave until it's straightened out. And that, I think, is the best way we can protect African descendants, man. We're going through too much, too often.
Right. So how is Baby Jake? Like, how Baby Jake? How is little Jake? Like, now, how is he mentally? How is he physically?
He's doing great, Queen. Thanks for asking. His mental side is off the chain. I mean, he's always continuing to elevate himself and encourage other people. Nevertheless, he's still paralyzed. He goes to therapy and puts his everything into it. But he's physically needs some help through the technology and other avenues that we have now in order to really max out how much he can do. So we just, he's our hero. And while I got time, say thank you to Locke, which is LOK up in Kenosha, to my baby that runs LOK, Tanya McLean. They've been awesome to the Blake family, the collective barbershops in combination with them, and all the organizations that they bring to the table when the Blake family comes out. We're forever indebted to them, and we just really wanted to say that today.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's great. So, another thing we want to ask, because we was having a conversation about, the death of George Floyd and how it was recorded. And, of course, there's controversy about the person that was recording. Some people feel like they should have done more than just record, and some people feels like if that recording would have never happened, then, of course, we would have never known the story of George Floyd. Same thing that goes on with Jacob Blake's situation. Did you guys even know the person that recorded the incident?
You know what? There's a couple of recordings, family, and because our nephew had sort of extended himself out into community a little bit, I think my nephew knows some of the people that recorded, but his uncles and brothers and family did not know who it was, but I think nephew knew who it was. I think we have to move from recording to being active. For instance, if we were at the George Floyd thing, bro, there's no way we wouldn't have done a flying tackle into the police officer to knock him off, dude.
Right.
We probably got the shit beat out of us, but he'd have been alive. We gotta move from standing watching to engaging. We cannot be afraid to save somebody's life. If you see somebody, even a police officer, wrongfully assaulting somebody, like back in the days with the Blackstones and the gangsters in Chicago, they used to have shootouts with the police. Why? Because the police would ride down on the south side of Chicago, excuse us, snatch up anybody they wanted to and do anything they wanted to do with them. This goes all the way back to down south. When you talk about the Deacons of Defense and these other organizations, that farmers and regular citizens that were African-American men picked up weapons to defend their community.
Right.
Emmett Till was snatched out of the bed at night, nephew, walked in his crib, snatched him out of his crib, and was dead the next day. Beat to death. You saw what his face looked like when they were done with him. As mature adults, as your uncle, I'm not going. If we see something, we got to engage. We must engage. We can no longer sit and videotape if there's more than one person there.
Right.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right.
Yep.
And that's what
So
I was
talking about that. So I was saying, like, me as a woman, if I was to see that, like, usually I do be on go. But it's like when it's the police and, it's 3 of them, they're armed, you're a young lady, and you see this happening, if my first mind was to tell me to record, like, if I was to jump in and do something, which I have in the past, it has been situations where I have, but, like, on her side, like, if she felt helpless and it was just to record, she recently received the award for that, and I was wondering, like,
we don't want our sisters doing that.
Of course not.
It's time for our brothers to stand their raggedy ass up and get in the game.
That's right.
That's right.
We got to protect our women, our children, and our community. We got to do that. You don't ask for power, you demand it.
That's right.
And they've, for too long, marginalized African-American men to where you are a rub-off. You like a mark. You're a punk. Ain't really nobody thinking about you.
Right.
Man, we got to change that. We got to bring black men together all around the nation and say, hey, you are kings. You need to stand up and engage and run your communities like we used to.
Right.
See, they're trying to, for years have been trying to play us out. Where they would give women money if men weren't in the home. This was a government-run program.
Absolutely.
This is strategical.
So speaking on that,
if the man's not around, you can do anything to the children. You can do anything to our women. We have to not allow that in 2021.
That's right.
That's right. So speaking on that, how do you feel about the COPS grant? So seeing that Milwaukee has just passed the COPS grant, or should I say Wisconsin, there's a COPS grant that's going out for $9.7 million for 30 officers to go through the academy for 3 years.
We hope to talk to organizations that you're involved with. We hope to talk to Locke and Tanya McLean to see if we can rally some organizations together. That's ridiculous. They've done nothing to deserve any more money to do any more damn harm to people in our goddamn community.
Say that.
It's ridiculous.
Say that.
And we have to stand up and really say, man, push that money back, dude. Either push it back or put it in our community, one or the other.
Big dot.
That's right. That's right.
So we can't be. It's a mighty long way to come to an old man like us, cuz at 50 to tell you that, man, we just can't go no more. I don't have it in me to watch it. We don't have it in us no more. Just stand by while they just crucify our young people. We don't have it in us, man. I'm tired as hell, and I'm not going to stand and watch it. I'm not going to encourage anybody else to stand and watch it. We're going to have to just full out engage. Martin Luther King went to jail. Malcolm X went to jail. Many of our great leaders found themselves behind bars because they believed in what they believed in so much. What's wrong with us? Are we scared? You're not going to break or tear down in jail.
No, I don't think
We've got to go to the max.
We
They
ain't
just got to
scared.
wake up. They got to wake up.
A lot of
man.
people who I talk to about this, they usually say, like, ain't nothing gonna happen. I think a lot of our people just already feel defeated.
Yeah, it is, sis. But, I mean, look at our history. The last 50 years, not even, I don't want to take y'all back 300 years. But, I mean, think about the lynchings that went on and that it was legal. I was just watching a documentary the other night on how they used to hang flags in Chicago and New York to say another black man was lynched today. Right? So we've been through it, sis.
Right. I have the right to vote. Like, that's
Say
a
that
big
again?
degree.
Women
come
didn't
a
have
long
the
way.
right to vote
Yeah.
at first, and now
Right.
women have the right to vote. So we have
That's
come
right.
a long way.
But one thing,
And we have
don't
a now
like
we have a
that
vice president
Yeah.
who's a woman. You know, like
Kamala
Right.
Harris.
But one thing we saw that was going down this year that I want to call out for what it is, I'd be damned if you're going to talk about black women's vote is different from black men's vote. The issues are the same. They're always trying to tear us apart and separate us.
Yep.
Why would you talk about black women like they were a separate entity from black men and black children in our black community? That's another way that they try to tear us apart. We have to do everything within our power to stay unified.
that's right.
That means you don't let nobody say nothing about nobody that look like us.
That's right.
That's
You know,
right,
me and my
man.
big brother been together the last couple of days. And anybody that knows the Blake family, we used to get into it in the house. But I'll be damned if anybody in the street will say anything or do anything to our brother.
Big
Period.
dot.
And
Big
we
dot.
have to think like that. Anybody that says, and when you're in meetings from now on, nephew, when you hear somebody say something negative, look at them in a different way and start looking at them from now on. Because anybody who's talking about persons and issues, and I mean persons and the way people move in our meetings from now on instead of issues, look at them people, man, because we got some snakes up in our demo that have to be casted out in order for us to go ahead and get the reward that we need to receive.
We most definitely do, especially some of the order people that we have voted in that voted yes for the cops grant. Those are the biggest
They
snakes.
did, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
You know,
they
these
sure
are people
did.
that look like us.
One of them actually marched with us. Gave us a public apology and invited us to her crib, fed us and
yeah.
all.
And what was their, reasoning behind getting the extra money?
They want to they want to give it to officers going through police academy for the next 3 years.
They want to do what? Say that one time, family.
So they want to give the $9.7 million to the police academy for officers to, 30 officers to go through for the next 3 years.
Okay. And what we think we need to do, nephew, and I'm fully ready to do it with you, we need to get with Tanya from Locke, Leaders of Kenosha, and TPR, and everybody else needs to sit down. We need to write up a bill of demands, and we need to say we want half that damn money. Now what?
That sounds like
hear you.
sounds like the fight we need to go ahead and
I
take
hear
on.
you.
You know, this is
I mean,
this show is about
That's
revolution.
just like shooting my nephew in the back 7 times. Let me tell you, family, I don't give a shit what you thought he was doing, whether you thought he was kidnapping his sons or you thought it was self-defense. There's never, ever a time where your eyes lied to you that what you saw when the people shot my nephew 7 times in the back, that shit's acceptable, right?
Right.
So there's never a time where a Mark can stand up who just saw all the terrible things happen in Milwaukee, happen in Kenosha, and turn around and add insult to injury, right? And now you're going to ask for $7 million? Man, never. Never. And it's time we got to put our foot down, make a lot of noise, go to jail perhaps, and let them know ain't no way in hell we're going to allow them to receive $7 million.
9.7.
I'm so sorry, 9.7 million, family.
Yeah,
It's
even on the
ridiculous.
Raiders slap.
It's crazy.
We want a big percentage of that 9.7 to be flushed into our community.
That's right.
You would not
Absolutely.
need to have the highest arrest rate and incarceration rate in Wisconsin if we got some of that 9.7 to cure some of the problems in our community, so you don't have to come police, so you don't have to put our people in jail, so we can be positive, active citizens. You dig?
Yep. That takes us
So-
back to the app.
Yeah.
Back
So
to the app.
that
Right.
we need to
Right.
forward those funds. We need to allocate those funds to our community. You know, just like what you said, and you know, moving forward, I think that's what we should have a sit down with these people, and we should make sure, like you said, we come up with a bill of demands. We come up with a way that this goes in our favor. Yeah, right now the yes has already went through for the police, but that doesn't sit well with us.
At all.
Right.
At
So
all.
what I'm saying now is sort of like the Blake family's trying to help the nation. Different organizations within our nation that are African descendants build what's called a platform. Right. So we give our votes to these people, and we never get anything. So this really would be the first time that we can think of, other than like Roosevelt, Kennedy, and a couple of times through this nation, where we got something back. So we got to get in the mindset, what are our biggest grievances and what do we need in our community? Number one, we need training and money for economic improvement and within our own community, so we
That's
can
right.
be self-sustaining.
That's right.
Number two, we need equal training or equal schooling. So our schools, because they take the money out of your taxes, of course, the uptown people that make more money are putting more money into their education because they have more money because of more taxes.
Right.
So we need to abolish the way they send schools money. Send money across the board equally. Right?
Equally.
Take all that tax money into one situation and distribute it equally. I don't give a damn where it came from. Everybody should get equal opportunity.
That's right. That's right.
In regards to our police, we want a chunk of that money to educate some of the men and women in our community so they could be quasi-police officers. So we don't have to get involved with the police. If there's something going on that's not murderous or dealing with children and abuse of children, then it should go to these people, man.
See, and that's the
something
Mirror
we-
app. The app that's
Say
on the
again?
screen. The app that's on the screen, the Mirror app. That app is designed for that. So it handles the situations for unarmed offenders, and that's what we need to
then that's
allocate
what we want
funds
money
to.
for, family.
Yeah.
We want money for a hotline.
Absolutely.
We want money for a 24-hour hotline. That if our children are talking about murdering themselves or doing something bad, they can call a hotline that's funded because we got money out of that 9.7.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, that's what
You know,
we
I mean,
need.
we want grants so the people in our community think they want to be paralegals or legal aids or somewhere in that form that could be helpful to African descendants when they jammed up or don't want to talk to their lawyer, or don't know what to say to their lawyer. Well, now we got somebody you can talk to from the neighborhood that'll look at your case and tell you what you should be asking from your lawyer. Man, I could go all day with this. We need to be getting some of that 9.7. Or if we don't, let them know we're going to sit on their head for 3 years. The whole time y'all are using that money, we'll be sitting on your head making big noise.
Let's
That
put our
part.
knee on their necks in a way like that.
That part.
That's exactly what we're talking about. And it's got to be full force, and it's got to be unified, and there's got to be solidarity. That means maybe Kenosha's got to come up to Milwaukee a couple of times a week or a couple of times a month. That Racine, that Madison has to flow up there, and vice versa. That y'all like y'all have done. Come on down and support us in Kenosha with Locke and the Barbers Collective and other organizations down there building. Mm-hmm. We need to be building it as a whole. Right. There shouldn't be marks out here trying to money grab. So they see big grants, they see big things, and they trying to money grab, and then everybody else under there is a little eye or a little fish because they got the bread. We should be doing it collectively, because if not, it doesn't look good, brother. It just doesn't.
Right.
So these are just some of the issues that we got to address. We can't, have an elephant in the room and not deal with it, family. This stuff is just outrageous. And who else would it happen to other than us?
That's right. The people of color, the people.
There's no savior coming. There's no dude riding in on a white horse that's going to make everything better or save our day.
We have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
We have to do it, bro. Our ancestors did it, and they had slaves and chains on them, and they were fighting for freedom. We don't have no chains. We don't have the threat of death at every second. The threat of death has been there throughout this marching period here and there. But, I mean, they lived under the threat of death every second of every day because they had no rights. And that's why we've got to fight hard in Kenosha and around the country, because anytime you can shoot somebody 7 times in the back and justify it, it makes it open season on all African Americans around this country and around the world.
It most definitely does. So moving forward with Joe Biden and being inaugurated as now our president, you said he was going to attack the police by reopening some of those cases. Well, looking into some of those cases. What do you feel would be what do you feel you and him could come to terms and agreements where you feel justice has been served for Jacob Blake? What would make you satisfied with that word, justice?
I mean, honestly, brother, they would have to fire the police officer that shot little Jake and indict him, have him day in court, and then convict him. We cannot have any safe haven for any police officer that commits a criminal assault on one of our citizens.
Absolutely.
And that's what happened with little Jake. So we can't allow them a safe haven behind a badge. We got to get rid of, what do they call it, nephew? In other words, any story the officer comes up with.
I fear for my life story.
Right.
My life was at danger.
You have to remove that, because you're a police officer, you're trained, and you have to be, you're willing to go into this service. You can't half-ass do it. Either you're a police officer and you've been trained to deal with writing tickets, to deal with a man beating on a woman and how you can best resolve it, to pull up on a fight in the middle of the street and be able to de-escalate and resolve it. The very first thing, so they tasered my nephew, and that didn't work because he's a Blake man. We got that special armor on us.
You knew that.
There was
hard body for sure.
There was still 3 officers present. You can't fucking tell us that 3 officers can't take down a 140-pound man. If you can't, then goddamn it, you shouldn't be a police officer, period, and definitely not be one in our community.
Mm-hmm.
So at some point, there has to be a reckoning of what you're saying. Stop sending these cowards into our community that don't know an African American, never dealt with African Americans, but they gonna police us. 1, number 2, we need, I know a lot of people don't want to do it these days, but we need some more African American police officers, family.
We do.
And we have to demand that. They can't come out of your neighborhood from these suburbs and fall up in the worst part of Milwaukee or the south side of Chicago talking about they do some policing.
Right.
It's not reality.
Right.
And when you do put a Caucasian in that situation, it puts our lives at risk.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
And they reach for their guns, even though they have multiple weapons. Like you have pepper spray, you have a taser, you have a billy club, but you go straight for the gun, the most deadly weapon.
Right, and that's where we need to build the law around. That if any person that doesn't have a weapon in their hand and you don't use 2 or 3 different ways to
Yep.
get at them before you pull your gun, you should automatically be charged with a crime.
Most
period.
definitely, they should be trained on de-escalation.
That's
Correct.
first thing
You
first.
know, we should further the training on de-escalation. These academies, okay, for the 30 officers, they need to do some community relations courses. You know, they need to be able to pass a mental exam. You know, we need to implement more things that keep our people safe at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
One thing that happened to Jacob Blake, where the officer felt he was in imminent danger,
Right.
he turned around. Jacob turned his back to the officer. There is no way, you know, someone can have their back turned to you and you feel that your life is threatened.
Exactly.
The
Come on,
officer
man.
went
And
on
for
by
you
saying,
to try to say, my nephew admitted that he had a knife in his pocket. You in a state where carrying a gun is legal. So why would you act like carrying a knife was illegal?
Right.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
He admitted he dropped the knife, and he said, man, I probably shouldn't have picked it up right there, but I picked it up to throw it in the car, I think he said. Okay, the knife was not open. It was not being held in a threatening manner. He went to pick a knife up, and they used any excuse to gun down a young black man in the streets. And there's nothing more than that.
and it's sad to say, I don't think that they felt like he was going to make it.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he was another Floyd or another Castile, another one of these other people that didn't make it. Yeah.
And then it's like, since when do a knife even equate to 7 shots in the back?
Okay. Thank you, sis. That's what I'm talking about. So we can't be okie doke, buffoon, befuddled, or ran game on. We too old and we too sophisticated for this shit because we've seen enough murders and bad things happen. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get you on some good light. Happen to our people. So we just can't tolerate it. That's where we got to be. We just cannot tolerate any more abuse of African Americans by the hands of police. And if they do, we might have to be able to be talking about we got to make that ultimate sacrifice, man. Period.
Absolutely.
And that's where it's sort of getting to, man. So we got to strengthen our minds, our bodies, and our soul and our spirit. We got to educate ourselves more. We need to start working out. And we need to realistically look at how we can stand up to help police our own communities so they police it less.
That's right. And before we let you go, what ways can people help support the Blake family? How can we help support Jacob Blake in his endeavors that he's going through right now?
Well, he's got a GoFundMe page. It's not hard to find that. That's specifically geared towards him. There's ways they can donate to the organization in fighting for justice up in Kenosha. And you can do that through the Jacob Blake Facebook page, the GoFundMe page. I mean, not the GoFundMe. The GoFundMe is directly for little Jake. The other monies that we raise in Kenosha are straight for fighting against the oppression of our people. So if you like to do that, you can always try to look up LOK, L-O-K, the leaders of Kenosha, Tanya McLean, which has been just awesome to us and our family, been on the front line, making sure we got everything that we need to keep this fight going. You can look up LOK, L-O-K, and they have a way in which you can donate to the cause and keep things moving. We cannot stop fighting, not for a second, not for a minute, not for an hour or a day. You know, people say they get tired. Man, you don't think I'm tired of this shit?
Man, I know you is.
You don't think
4:30 in the morning.
if we had a choice,
still
we would
fighting.
one day be on a beach somewhere sipping a drink with an umbrella in it? But the fact of the matter is, our people are dying every day.
That's right. That's right.
That doesn't mean something to you.
Yeah, man.
I mean, it was little Jake, our time, and the people from the media used to always ask, I heard you do all the great work in Chicago. Yeah, why do we do it, cuz? Because we didn't want to be our sons. We didn't want it to be our nephew. But here it is that it is. So you can't stand up and you don't want to be, we got to be proactive, let me say that. We can't wait for it to happen to one of our loved ones. We got to be out there doing work so it doesn't happen to one of our loved ones.
Exactly.
Exactly. But we don't want to hold you too long. We know you had a early morning start at the
Right.
inauguration. You had to be up at 5 in the morning. We do want to give you a a shout out, and say thank you for all your hard work, of course, and thank you for coming on the show. Yes. It was a pleasure to have you telling, Justin's Jacob's story, as his uncle, the Justin Blake. He
everybody uncle. He my uncle too.
You're doing. You guys are gonna lead to freedom for generations you guys don't even know yet. So our boys is out from yelling today, but man, big ups to the red, black, and green. Unity now, one Africa. If we put our egos to the side, the success that we can have in 2021, our ancestors will shower down everything we ever needed or thought we needed. We just have to be prepared.
All right. Well, again, thank you for your time.
All right,
we appreciate it. We love you, and we're going to keep on praying for Jacob Blake, y'all. There we go. That was the uncle of Jacob Blake, a victim of police brutality, shot 7 times in his back by an officer.
In front of his children.
That's crazy. In front of your children. I know he can't wait to walk again. I'm telling you.
He's paralyzed from the waist down.
In front of your children. Like, where there's a will, there's a way. They say he's paralyzed.
Right, he could always be reversed.
Of course, they paralyzed.
He say he's going through therapy and everything.
Speaking of boots on the ground, we got Brandon, who's out.
Mr. Shut It Down
at the march with Maria Hamilton for Dontre Hamilton. Today is Dontre Hamilton's birthday, y'all. Happy birthday, Dontre.
Yes, happy birthday, Dontre. Brandon, you on mute.
You want to give us some insight on what's going on out there, Brandon?
What's going on, y'all? I'm going to bring Nate Hamilton on the camera with me.
Nate, what's up, big bro?
How you doing?
What's up, man? How you feeling today, brother?
Man, hurt, but it's my brother. I'm always got love in my heart for him. You know what I'm saying? And for all our brothers and sisters that's lost their life. And today, just recognizing my brother and him being 38, I wish he could see 38. I really do. I wish he'd be here, right here. We wouldn't have to be out here, but we empowered by the people right now, empowered by the spirit of this movement to continue to do what we got to do to make sure that we get change out here.
Do you think, with today being the inauguration, Joe Biden moving forward, do you think he's going to do the right thing and help
we got to do the right thing?
Lives?
Yeah, we got to do the right thing. I don't think no president, no anybody going to do nothing for us. We got to do the right thing for ourselves. And we got to raise the bar for our community. I never expected, I'm going to be blunt, no white man to fix our problem. You know what I'm saying? They had the chance to do it. They haven't done it yet. So who's going to fix our problem is the people who take, take control of the power that we got. We stay out here in these streets. We stay out here in their face to make sure they understand that we ain't gonna be silent until we start seeing accountability, until we start seeing officers locked up. That's when we gonna stop.
That's right. Somebody just said we love you, Nate.
I don't think we can stop.
Nate, you got people out there that love you.
You got people in the comments. They saying they love you and they love the Hamilton family.
Man, I love them back, man. Like, they don't understand how much they give us, how much we get from the people. Like, we encourage each other, inspire each other. I'm inspired by TPR. I'm inspired by every movement that came across this country that's supporting black men, black women, brown men, brown women, and just injustice in itself. So, you know what I'm saying? I love this community. You know what I'm saying? I can't love the fight for justice because we shouldn't be loving the fight for justice. We should just be out here because we know how wrong it is and how hurtful it is to the mothers and the fathers of these lost bodies.
And how can people keep supporting Dontre Hamilton?
They can go to Mother Justice United. They can hit me up. We still got the Coalition for Justice. We're going to start doing something, making some moves. Right now, I'm the chairman of this Community Collaborative Commission. Got a lot of things I'm trying to push forward, get the community involved so we can get some of these policies changed. But to change these policies, to put people in place and to have the people in the community stand on their necks to make sure these things get done right.
Absolutely.
That's right. And Nate, you the big brother of Dontre or the little brother?
Big brother.
Big brother. So we have the big brother and the mother of Dontre Hamilton with us today.
That's Maria
Hey,
Hamilton.
y'all.
How you doing? You're so beautiful.
Still out here.
I know, right? Hey, Mom.
Won't be silent.
At all. That's right. That's right. It's his
It's
birthday.
his birthday. We love you too.
We love you too. Brad, you want to speak a little bit about what's going on out there?
Yeah, we're at the federal building right now. We're at the federal building on Jackson Street. Where
Is that
Maria
DB?
Hamilton says she came 18 months after her son got killed, and they denied her justice, and they denied for Officer Manny to be held accountable. So they're gonna head back to Red Oak Park, and then they are gonna do a balloon release and a visual. And then also, we got Alana Rose. She's been putting the fist up for us all around the city.
Yeah, Lana.
How do you feel about them accepting the cop grant?
I think it's. Am I allowed to cuss on this? I think it's BS because they're saying that, or the Common Council is saying that they have no say so in what the police are going to end up doing with that $9.7 million. Even though we've seen so much police brutality over this past year alone.
Yep.
I don't understand why the people of this city, or our aldermen of the city, would decide, let's blindly give the police millions of more dollars. That doesn't make sense. That's not going to stop them from killing us. That's not going to stop them from hurting us. They should be investing that money into our communities, back into schools, into our health systems, into mental health, substance abuse, housing, homelessness, joblessness. That's what that $9.7 million can do to improve our city and make us safer.
And what made you want to start doing the fist all around the city?
You know, it's a very layered question. The very first one came from a place of depression, to be honest, because a lot of people don't care. When George Floyd died, everybody hit the streets. But after the trend died, we lose numbers. We're so small right now. And the problem that I'm seeing is that it was a trend. Everybody decided to get upset because they are mad of the way that George Floyd was killed. Not for the fact that he was another black man dead in the news of that day. It was because of the way he was killed. People don't actually care about our black and brown lives. They just were upset about the inhumanity of the way in which he was killed, and it was captured on video.
And with today being the inauguration day, do you think Joe Biden or Kamala Harris would make the right decision in helping the black and brown community?
It's hard to tell. It's too soon. Biden has a history of making some racist policies. He was also born in the time of where racism was far more acceptable and far more overtly acceptable. Kamala Harris, I want to say yes, but I don't know because she's very pro-police. You're pro-police and you ain't for the people and you aren't doing anything for us to prevent us from getting hurt. I don't know, because not all your skin folk are your kinfolk.
Say that.
And then she recently put up a fist down by Red Arrow Park. That was her latest fist. What made you want to do that one?
You helped me decide that one. This man over here helped me decide to want to Red Arrow Park, not only because it's for Dontre Hamilton, but because it is for Dontre Hamilton. He deserves one too.
You breaking up, Brandon.
He deserves the remembrance. He deserves the recognition. And people shouldn't forget. Even though he died, 7 years ago? Even though he died in 2014, the police brutality is still alive and it is still well. And our city should not forget about it.
Thank you.
Hey, Brandon. So I'm hearing a lot about
Coach,
I gotta take a picture. Hold on. Dang, I missed it.
Hold on, like it's gonna stay there. Yeah,
hey, Brandon. So I hear you talking a lot about Red Arrow Park. What's the significance between Red Arrow Park and Dontre Hamilton?
Yeah, his phone.
Yeah,
is
it's frozen.
I can
His phone
answer
frozen.
that. Dontre Hamilton was
ahead.
murdered by a police officer while he was asleep in Red Arrow Park, and they haven't received justice for him being killed in his sleep. Same thing with Breonna Taylor.
How was he killed?
So I believe he was shot. What was it? 14? Was it? I believe 14 times.
Yeah.
So it just goes to show you that, the trend that the police are setting. It goes to show the trend that the police are setting against African Americans in the United States is just, by any means necessary, if you feel threatened, then kill them. And, it's just getting out of hand. So, before we leave, y'all, of course, we hate to go, but
we got one more app though.
We do. We have one more app.
We got one more app. It is called mkeblack.org.
Yeah.
And that was for the commercial.
I believe so.
That was gonna be at the commercial. I just wanted to make sure that we did touch on that.
Most definitely download the app, y'all. It is to liberate black businesses. It is to make sure that we have a voice, where we can sustain in an economical background, where we can, see some funds.
Yes. So if you got a black business, download that app and put it on there. Reach out to who you need to reach out to. We're going back to Brandon.
Back to you, Brandon.
Yeah, man, my phone froze. My phone had froze up. It's cold as a mug out here.
You looking like Rudolph.
We headed back to Red Arrow Park where they gonna do the balloon release and a candlelight for Dontre Hamilton. Dontre Hamilton got killed at Red Arrow Park 7 years ago today. The Starbucks called the police on him. He was having a mental breakdown, and Officer Manny came multiple times, and then the last time he came, he did shoot and kill Dontre Hamilton.
And he was off duty, correct?
I believe he was off duty.
See, that's the same thing that's happening with Joel Acevedo's case as well. That officer was off duty.
Mm-hmm.
And it was 7 years ago today that they still saying these same chants, no justice, no peace. 7 years ago today, they said they've been saying these chants for so long. Mm-hmm. It's time for a change.
It's definitely time for a change. But at this point, the change got to be made at our hands. Like, we got to be the ones that make the change. We got to force their hand to even do it. Because we already been putting the idea in their head. We already been demanding it. Now it's just time for us to just take over.
I think it's time for the change to come from the community. The community needs to come together, and we need to take this fight to Madison.
Most definitely.
As Maria Hamilton definitely was just saying, the fight needs to go bigger and better to Madison.
That's right, especially since we got those seats in office. So people continue to reach out to your aldermen. Mm-hmm. Make sure you make this an issue, of course, with the cops grant. You need to complain until we're met with our demands of where we can reallocate those funds. So make sure you calling your alderman and you making as many complaints as you can about being against the cops grant.
And also remember that your local elections matter. Local elections matter.
Absolutely.
Vote for these alder people and these mayors. It matters. People need to start coming out in numbers when it's time to vote for the alder people. If the alder people don't care about what's happening in the community, they just gonna do what they feel is important for them. They need to be removed out of the seat, and we need to put people in the seat that are more important.
And the Wisconsin spring primary is on the 16th of February.
February 16th.
So, with that being said, y'all, make sure y'all hit up the Revolution Ready page. Of course, stay tuned. Hit up our Cash App, Revolution Ready LLC, of course. And make sure y'all tune in next week, Wednesday. Y'all do not want to miss it.
Do not miss it. We got everything that y'all need to know on the screen. Justin Blake's GoFundMe is at the bottom. We got the app right here, the Mirror app. We got the 3 people who changed their vote for the cops grant. We got our website, and to get merch and everything is right there in your face. Please utilize it.
And to Ashanti Hamilton, the kid died, and Alderman Lewis, one more last thing to say to y'all.
Man, sit your dumb ass down.
All right, we out. Peace.